According to New York Knicks insiders like Ian Begley of SNY, the New York Knicks are interested in trading for Bruce Brown. Quote, there are some people in the Knicks front office that would love to bring him on prior to the NBA trade deadline. We're going to break that down and more coming up on today's show. But first, I need to make sure everybody is subscribed here to New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports, because the bosses are threatening that we may make this channel private prior to the NBA trade deadline, because there's been some AI channels out there that have been stealing our content, and I don't want you to miss anything, as I believe the Knicks are going to make another move. So subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on so you never miss a video. Welcome into Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. Let's get you caught up on everything that circulates around this basketball team. We're going to talk about the report from Ian Begley and Bruce Brown. Then around the corner, Michael Scotto of HoopsHype, who's been really tapped into the New York Knicks as of late, listed 3 players that the New York Knicks could be interested in trading for prior to the trade deadline. But let's go to Begley of SNY. I'll link his article in the description of today's show so you can go read it at length. He said this: if the Raptors make Bruce Brown available, remember he was just traded from the Pacers to the Raptors, there is a significant internal support within the Knicks to pursue Brown. Brown earlier this season told the New York Post that Knicks head coach Tom Thibodeau has been a fan of his since college. Logic tells you that Thibodeau would like to pursue Brown. There are people other than the head coach who see Brown as a potential target. The Knicks could match Brown's salary by including Evan Fournier in a trade. Toronto would presumably seek trade asset or a young player in a Brown deal. The Knicks can include 8 first-round picks in trades. They also could include Quentin Grimes in a Brown deal. Also, Michael Scotto said this: the New York Knicks are primarily dangling Evan Fournier and his potential expiring of contract of $18.8 million, Quentin Grimes, and picks to find an upgrade in this lineup. I'm going to tell you what I think about trading for Bruce Brown in a second, but I want to hear from all the real ones down in the comments section. Do you want the Knicks to trade for Bruce Brown? It's an interesting topic. I think it's a good question. Let me know. Type T for trade, type P for pass. You know, like when you're a kid and you ride in your parents' car and you're like, I want McDonald's. And they're like, we got McDonald's at home. The Knicks already have a Josh Hart at home. They already have a Bruce Brown. Josh Hart and Bruce Brown are the same exact player. What do they do on a basketball court? They give you maximum effort. They play with maximum toughness. They help you improve on the margins. They do all the little things. They grab loose boards. They move the ball in transition. They can guard multiple players on defense. They are your workers, as I like to call them. But at the end of the day, we already have a Josh Hart. We don't need to add another Bruce Brown. We don't need another guy that's going to come to this team and take minutes away from offensively skilled players to supplement them for, I would say, average defenders that can't knock down shots. What hurt the Knicks in the playoffs against the Miami Heat? No one could hit a jumper outside of Jalen Brunson. I like Bruce Brown, NBA champion. He does all the right things. I think he would make a lot of sense for this team. But he shoots 32% from 3. I don't want to add another guy that can't knock down shots in big moments. But you know what? It ain't me making the decisions. It's Tom Thibodeau. And Tom Thibodeau is an absolute maniac. He wants to have Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, and he wants to surround him with guys like OG Anunoby and Quentin Grimes and Bruce Brown and Josh Hart and Dante DiVincenzo and Isaiah Hartenstein. He wants to recreate those old Bulls teams, and I get it. I think Bruce Brown would help you, but I don't think he makes you that much better, and I honestly think he may cripple your offense a little bit more. You're trading Grimes, a 40% three-point shooter, over 45% since the OG Anunoby trade from downtown, for a guy that doesn't help you that much on offense. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me. And the reason is I'm not giving up Quentin Grimes for a lateral move where you just add a role player. Quentin Grimes was once deemed untouchable in a Donovan Mitchell trade. That would be the absolute definition of asset mismanagement. If you were to go trade Quentin Grimes, so you wouldn't move for Donovan Mitchell to trade him for Bruce Brown. What are we doing here? Come on. You only trade Grimes in a package with picks and salary and maybe another young player for a star. You do not trade him for another bench player, because you know why? I think you could get the exact same production from Bruce Brown that you could from Quentin Grimes. doesn't make all that much sense to me. Coming up next, we do have a Dejounte Murray update from Michael Scotto of HoopsHype, and he has linked the Knicks to 3 guards that would, I think, potentially help this problem that they have off the bench. But is it the right move? I'll tell you in a second. But first, you guys got to get hooked up with our proud sponsor, PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use the promo code CLNS, and PrizePicks will match your initial deposit up to $100. PrizePicks is daily fantasy sports made easy. All you do is create a lineup of 2 to 6 players, NFL, NBA, college basketball, and so much more you could play right now. I'm just going to roll with a 2-player lineup tonight. I think Julius Randle is going to have a big game against a soft Washington Wizards team. Give me more on his points, rebounds, and assists. And they also have combo plays as well. I'm going to go with more points combined for Kyle Kuzma and Jalen Brunson. I think the Knicks win. I think the Knicks win big, but Kuzma usually plays pretty good against the Knicks. CAA Mafia right there. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS, $100 deposit match. If you're going to play daily fantasy sports, do with our proud sponsor, PrizePicks. All that information is clickable in the comments and description. Alrighty, so we somewhat have more of a clear vision of what it would cost in a move to acquire Dejounte Murray. Reports are coming out that Atlanta, at minimum, wants 2 first-round picks in return. Well, the New York Knicks, you have 8 tradable first-round picks right now. You didn't have to include any for OG Anunoby. You would think that the Knicks would be all in on adding Murray. I don't know. Michael Scotto says this. New York was first reported to have interest in Murray by HoopsHype. Since acquiring OG Anunoby, though, and the team's recent success, the Knicks aren't in a rush to push the chips all in for Murray at this time. New York is gauging the market to see what else that potential package can fetch. The Knicks are doing their due diligence and looking at various players across the league, including Hornets guard Terry Rozier, Blazers guard Malcolm Brogdon, and former Tom Thibodeau favorite Alec Burks. What a list of names right there. Gotta love me some Alec Burks. That dude was money in the fourth quarter when he played for the Knicks. But we all know the New York Knicks need another guard. Deuce McBride has played pretty well in the absence of Jalen Brunson. But Brunson came back last night and he just played 11 minutes. And I would rather more of a veteran guy that can lead an offense and run a show come in and supplement Brunson and potentially play alongside him, potentially in closing lineups. But those guys that were mentioned by Scotto, Rozier, Brogdon, I'm not trading Grimes for any of those players. I'm damn sure not trading Quentin Grimes for Alec Burks. I like Malcolm Brogdon, and if I had to power rank these guys in order of who I would want to trade for of those 3, Malcolm Brogdon is at the top of the list. He is a veteran, he has size, he can defend a little bit more than the other players mentioned, and he's played in a lot of big-time moments. And I believe he would embrace coming off the bench. You get to keep DiVincenzo in the starting lineup, and he could play the 1 off the bench, and he could play alongside Jalen Brunson. Brogdon would be in your closing lineup from time to time. I would then go Terry Rozier. I've always liked Scary Terry's game, never afraid to pull up and get a bucket, can somewhat defend, has 6'8", wingspan, coming at 6'1". But I think his best days of defense are behind him. But he's having a career offensive year, giving you 24 a night and just shy of 7 assists, and it's the efficiency I love. But do I ever really want to deploy a lineup of 6'1" Terry Rozier and 6'1" Jalen Brunson down the stretch? No, I don't think you could do that against the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't think you could do that against the Boston Celtics. They would match up punch you to death. And I'm definitely not giving up Grimes for Terry Rozier, who was on the back half of his career. Definitely not giving up Grimes for Alec Burks, but I do think there is a trade that the Knicks could make where Burks would be coming back to the Knicks. I think it would involve Fournier, and maybe that's about it. You give them some salary filler, or maybe you throw in a second-round pick or so. He has struggled this year in totality, only shooting 39% from the field and 12 points per game. But ever since the New York Knicks trade rumors have heated up and Burks' names have been attached, in the last 12 games, he's averaging 18 points per game, 47% from the field, and 47% from 3. I think Alec Burks would love to come back, and I wouldn't be mad, but I'm not giving up Quentin Grimes for Burks. I'll ask you this question before we bounce on out of here, though. If you had to pick one of these guys to trade for, and you're also thinking about what the package would be, value what you would be giving out in relation to who you would be acquiring. Type MB for Brogdon, TR for Rozier, or AB for Alec Burks. Another player that the New York Knicks have been linked to is Tim Hardaway Jr. The Dallas Mavericks reportedly inquired about Quentin Grimes. Maybe they talked about a framework of a deal there, but that's not one I would like to see go down either. I respect the scoring ability for THJ, but I don't need to see him for a third time in a Knicks uniform. Doesn't move the needle for the Knicks, and I don't think his trade value is all that high. Because if you're going to trade for a guy, you need to also have something else so you can make another trade in the summer that we all want the Knicks to make. A lot of stuff to talk about in today's show, but wanted to get you a video before tonight's game. We will be live on the channel, so subscribe, turn the notifications on, and let's go Knicks.